Okay, so today is actually December the 2nd. Scary, scary. And I am, parents, whoever out there, at 3:06 today. It is Monday the 2nd. There'll be the schedule going out for Wednesday and Thursday for what Miss Donahue's kids in 6th grade have. But each grade level is different. And then, of course, you got to kind of look at your kid's schedule to see. You guys love to ask me, do I have PE? I'm like, you all have different schedules. How am I supposed to know if you have PE? Anyway, so that schedule's going out. But today we're starting equations. I have begged your children to give me 4 or 5 questions before they ask me 500 questions. So I can teach the lesson and let them soak it in. And then I've also said in a nice fashion, you got to show your work. You got to show your steps. That's just part of it. And you will get it more like in 7th and 8th grade. You'll be like, oh, but you got to show your work. Okay? Or tomorrow it's like a 0 on homework. Okay? Now, we're starting equations. Not hard. They got an equal sign. Easy breezy. Okay? Equation is a math sentence that shows 2 expressions are equal. They got to have an equal sign. It's kind of like, 2 expressions that are equal. I was looking for my word. Basically, all it is there's an expression here, and there's an expression here. And equations are seeing if they're equal. So when we get to the bottom, we want to make sure that 9 equals 9. That you don't get 8 on this side or something. We want to make sure they're equal. The solution is actually the value of the variable. We're going to figure out x today. We're going to figure out y. We're going to figure out the variables. We want to figure out what the variable equals, finally. Okay? And then to solve it, we're going to find the solution to an equation. We're going to get through the steps and find the solution. The last thing says this, and it may have cut a word off as you've been writing. It says to find. Oh, I'm sorry. To solve. Don't stress. Breathe. Okay. To solve or find the solution to an equation, we're going to isolate the variable. I want you to think about the word isolate. Put it off by itself. I want you to think about it. Y'all been wanting to know for weeks now since we started expressions, but how do I figure out what x equals? Well, you just isolated x. You put it off by its lonely self. Listen, that's what we're going to be doing. Figuring out what a variable equals by getting it all by itself. That's our whole goal, okay? This is very step-oriented. Very just like if you'll stick with me with these steps, you will be fine. Okay? It works. The steps I'm getting ready to say out of my mouth work with add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So what I'm teaching you today, kind of just with add and subtract, we will use tomorrow with multiply, divide. But it's easy, I promise. Okay. Now, another thing that I wonder if made some people worry earlier was I started with number 1. I want to actually jump to a whole number 1, so you're not stressed. I don't know how anyone has any math problems already written down because I've not taught anything yet. But that's okay. To each his own. Okay, we're going to start with number 2. And I'm going to talk you through one. Let me find my little weird cut pieces of paper. Okay. So, I'm going to start with number 2 because it is just cute, beautiful, whole numbers. Okay. So number 2. One second. Yes. So that is as big as it'll go. Here. Bless you. I couldn't think of what I was going to say. Okay. So starting out, we see this equation. It has an equal sign. Okay. The first question you want to ask yourself is there a variable? Yes. Yeah. What is the variable in that equation? Y. Okay. Now, in every equation, it's kind of like there's this imaginary line that goes down where the equal sign is. It's like a little imaginary line. You kind of have to just imagine it being there. Okay. So when I ask you the first question, what is your variable? You say y. I ask you what is with y, and I want you to think about this. My whole goal is to get this y down here by itself. So what is with the y that you probably want to get rid of? 18. Okay? I want you to look at that. What kind of 18 is that? A positive 18 or a negative 18? Positive. Okay? So to get rid of a positive 18, we're going to do the opposite, which is subtract. We're going to minus 18. Now, I want you to think about that. If I have 18 apples and I take away 18, how many's left?
0.
0. So they're all gone, and all that's left on this side is a lonely little y. We good so far? Okay. Oh, I don't want to hear it yet. Listen, I love y'all, but just give me a second. All it is we're going to do the inverse operation, the opposite math, to get rid of anything that's with the variable.
So you're going to subtract?
Subtract. But here's where the answer comes from. On an equation, if you subtract 18 on one side, you got to do it on the other side. You have to do it on both sides. Okay?
Basically 18 minus 18.
Well, on this one, it's 18 minus 18, which is 0. Leaves me with just y on that side. But on this side, if I do 72 minus 18, okay, now, let's say we need to borrow. I get 54.
But how does it equal y though?
Okay, because if you on equations, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So if you do plus 2 on this side, you got to do plus 2 on this side. If you do times 8, you got to do times 8. Okay? Now, start by kind of writing that part down. And then I'm going to show you the next part. Okay. On the other side of this problem is where we check it. We are literally going to see, now wait a minute. You guys just said that y should be 54. I need to check that. Okay, step 1 is we're going to write the problem. Again, the same problem. Meaning 72 equals 18 plus y. I am literally just copying that math problem right there. That equation. Okay. Then over here, you told me y was 54, right? Okay, so I'm going to go over here where there's a y, and I'm going to fill it in as 54. 54, and I'm going to copy the rest of the problem. And now I'm going to literally check my math. What is 18 plus 54?
72.
Okay, 8 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. Carry a 1, 5, 6, 7, 72. Well, if I got 72 on this side, and they've already told me that 72 is on the other side, are they equal?
Yes.
Yes. Then guess what? You got y correct over there. When you fill in whatever your variable is, when you check it, those two sides should be equal because they're equations. It works. The only reason it works is what's the inverse operation, doing the opposite math. Okay? So don't stress you. Let's give it a few. Okay? Let's go down to the next one. Okay. So look at number 5. Okay, so we see it's an equation because it's got an equal sign. So my first question is, what's the variable? F. What is with F that you want to get rid of?
17.
What kind of 17?
Negative.
Minus 17. What's the opposite of a minus 17?
Add.
Add 17. But I know that what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Notice how I went ahead and wrote it on both sides. Okay, so to kind of clean this thing up, think about this. If I'm at negative 17 and I add 17 to it, where am I?
0.
0. That's a 0. That kind of goes away. So once you think about it, I'm going to go to my number line. Think about it. If I'm way down here at negative 17 and I go 17 spots that way, I add 17. I'm back down here at 0. Does that make sense? Kind of? Okay. So those 17s, the two that match, get to go away, leaving me with only an F on that side of the equal sign. My other side is what gives me my answer. 84 plus 17. 8, 9, 10, 11.
Why did you mark 17 out?
Okay, because if you're at negative 17 and you add 17, you're now at 0.
Is number 4 or number 2?
Okay? Just right yet. Like, I want you to think about it. If you owe me $17 and you pay me the $17, how much do you owe me now?
0.
0. So these kind of disappear right there, okay, by using the opposite math. Okay, I literally added this. 7 plus 4 got 11. 8, maybe I did that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I was right. 8, 9, 10, 101. Okay, this is my answer. Now I'm going to go on this right side and check it. Okay, step 1 is copy the problem. 84 equals F minus 17. Okay, you have to copy it. Teacher has to know where you started with. Guys, imagine this problem going all the way down the paper. Right now you're doing one-step equations. There's only one kind of math you do. But later down the line, these things could have 20 steps. Okay. Whew. I know I've said that a bunch, but here we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is fill it in. You're telling me on this next step that you know you want to fill it in as 101. So where F is, I write 101. I copy the rest of the problem. Okay. Now, I wouldn't trust this math. When it comes to borrowing 101 minus 17, what I do is this, kind of on the corner of my paper, kind of near the problem. You know, put it kind of near it so you're not like, it's on 4 sheets of paper ago in my binder. No, like, put it right there. Okay, we'll borrow. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 9 minus 1 is 84. Okay, so I got 84 on this side. I got 84 on this side. So F being 101 must be right. Does that kind of make sense?
Kind of.
Kind of. It's the same thing over and over. Step 1, find your variable. Step 2, get rid of whatever's with the variable. Do the opposite math. And then basically check your paper, check your question.
I'm confused about 3.
3. I'm not on 3. Listen, just these two. Okay. Now, let's go to 4. I'm sticking with whole numbers. Okay. Let's look at number 4. Okay. And here's what's going to get some of you guys. You already know the answer, but don't let that mess you up. Okay? So like on this one, still do the same steps out of my mouth. What's your variable? W. What's with the W that you want to get rid of?
A 2.
What? What kind of 2?
Negative.
Minus 2. What's the opposite? Plus 2. So write plus 2 on each side. Because what we do to one side, we got to do to the other. Okay, these two 2's get to disappear because they would be 0. Leaving me with a W. And what is 9 plus 2? 11. Okay, you told me what W was. Now let's test it. Check it. Yes. So I'm going to do W minus 2 equals 9. Fill in your W. Don't just tell me like 9 equals 9, guys. You got to show me every step. And literally check it. I have all my fingers in one toe. And I take away a finger and a toe. How many fingers do I have left? 9. Okay? Literally check it. If you need to count up, if you need to jot it on the edge of your paper, check it. Okay? What will happen is, my kids that are super smart will get there and just write 9 equals 9, where really they've told me like W is 10, and they got the math wrong. But you want to check it. Check it. Okay? So you always just do the opposite math. We good so far? Okay. Let's now go to decimals. Listen, don't let them scare you. You know decimals. Add, subtract decimals. We always line up the...
The point.
Yeah, the decimal. There you go. The decimal. Okay. Air on, but it... Well, I know. And I'm like, I keep pushing the buttons, but I just realized that it helps if it's actually turned on. Like, I just keep pushing buttons and it won't turn on. Okay. Let's look at number 3 actually now. Okay. Nothing changes. I don't care if it's decimals, fractions, nothing changes. Okay, so number 3, here we go. Step 1, what's your variable? N. What is with the N that you want to get rid of? 1.5. What kind of 1.5? Positive. What's the opposite? Negative. So minus 1.5. What we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. Okay, so think about it. If you have $1.50 and you give away $1.50, you now have 0. Those get to disappear. Leaving me with an N on that side. So 8 minus 5, 3, bring down a decimal, 9 minus 1, 8. Okay, I'm going to check it. Copy the problem. Okay, I'm going to fill in my N. It's 8.3. Okay, if you need to jot it on the edge of your paper to make sure, like it says plus, you literally want to do that math. Which number? Over there. Okay. So all it is I literally added those and I made sure I got what was on the other side. Okay. Okay, so that's decimals. Nothing changes. If it's subtract, line up the decimals. Do the math. Okay. Fractions, same thing. Okay, but with fractions, we gotta have common
Denominator.
for add and subtract. Add and subtract's got to have common denominators.
Common denominator is 10.
And add and subtract.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so here we go with number 6. Okay. Now, I will admit the writing of it's kind of weird because you guys just haven't seen, I mean, obviously, you've never seen equations with fractions in them. Okay, so just kind of look for just a second and it'll help give you an idea of how to write it. Okay, steps are still the same. What's my variable? X. What is with the X that I want to get rid of?
What half?
A half. What kind of half?
Negative.
Negative a half. What's the opposite? Plus a half. So I'm just going to go right here and I'm going to write plus 1/2. But what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Ah. So if you owe me $50, but you give me $50, how much do you have left? 0. Okay. So this side is just my X. Now, on this other side is where we got to do the common denominator stuff. Okay.
It's 10.
Okay, so if I skip count by 5s and 2s, I get 10. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5.
10.
So my X is 9 tenths. 4 plus 5. Okay, now on the checking side. Okay. Copy the problem. Okay, step 2, fill in X. Here I said X was 9 tenths. Now, this is the weird part right here to me, because I always stack my fractions when I add and subtract up and down. Okay, but honestly, that's the way it should be written, because you want to keep it looking the same way it was when the teacher gave it to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to the edge of my paper and do the math. Listen, I know why it's there. You don't have to erase it. Just go right here and do like 9 tenths minus a half. I'm still going to find like common denominators and all that good stuff. And it is 10. 2 times 5, 1 times 5. Okay, I got 9 minus 5 is 4 tenths. Ah, so I want you to look at that. Here's 2/5. Here's 4 tenths. Can't minus it again. Simplify. What is 4 tenths simplify to? 2/5. Yes. Listen, you got the right answer.
That is the answer.
2/5 is equal to 2/5. You just got to know you're simplifying also. That's going to be the one, like, how like there's those added steps. We got to go back and remember them all now. Okay? Steps never change. Doesn't matter if it's decimal or fraction or whatever. We good so far? Okay. Listen, let's go to the back. Don't even worry about the other ones. Just flip to the back. Bam. Okay, let's do number 1. Relax. Here we go. Number 1. So, here we go. So, we look at number 1. 9 plus b equals 14. Ooh. Okay, I see my equal sign. What is my variable?
B.
B. What is with the B that you want to get rid of?
9.
9. Okay, so, right, it's a plus 9, so the opposite is
Negative.
minus 9, right. And what I do to one side, gotta do to the other. Crossing out the ones that match, leaving me with B equaling 5. Okay. Then, over here, she's even got the word check. Okay. Copy the problem. Whatever you said B was, it was 5. And 9 plus 5 is 14. You literally want to check it, guys. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It is 14. I must be right. And check it. Okay. This will become super detrimental when you have a 20-step equation. What if you had 2 or 3 variables you had to figure out? It will become more important as you go on, the checking step. Okay, here we go. Let's do number 2. What's my variable? Y. What's with the Y you want to get rid of? 1.9. What's the opposite of a plus 1.9? Negative 1.9. It is easy. It just... Get rid of those, leaving me with Y. 9 9's 18. That would be 3.
2.9, wouldn't that be 2.9?
2.9.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Now I'm going to check it. Oops. Listen, don't, you want to check. This is one of those a lot of people miss. Make sure you don't have 3.9 or something. 9 plus 9 is 18. Carry a 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to seriously check you got the right answer. Don't just write 4.8 equals 4.8. Keep going. Try 3 and 4, and then we'll compare them. Try 3 and 4. Keep going. Keep going. So you tell me is 1 minus 5 4? Ah. You're not the only one who's done that. Whatever you get for your variable should work. So if on number 3 you got a 1, think about it. If you have 1 minus 5, you get 4.
Yes.
1 minus 5.
No.
Oh, well, you'd get negative 4. She wouldn't get 4. Right. So, if you're telling me, if you got down to here and you said h equals 1, something's wrong, right? So, erase and go back, okay? All it is, and it's happened more than just once, I promise. Okay, we get confused on what we should take away. So think about it this way. We're trying to get h by itself. We want to get rid of a minus 5. So the opposite is plus 5. Right? So h is, what's 4 plus 5? 9. There you go. 4 plus 5.
Minus 5. I thought it was I thought we were doing it across, not up.
Same thing, right there. Okay, so I check my work now. We said H was 9.
Why is it so far apart?
So you have room to write, I guess. Okay. Keep going. You have to check it. Don't ever ask me that again. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I gave my whole speech earlier. Parents are listening and wondering why I jumped in. You've got to check it. Listen, this is one of those tests that honestly, if you were to check every one, you could make 100. Because if you're truly checking your math, if you get it wrong, what should you do? Go back and fix it. You'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Love it. What's the answer? Yes. Listen, don't let poor zero confuse you. Listen, look at number 5. Where's your variable? B. So look at that side of the equal sign. What is with the B you want to get rid of?
14.
Slow down. 14. Positive 14. What's the opposite? Minus 14. So if I do a minus 14 on this side and a minus 14 on this side, B is 0. Now, you still might be confused, but think about it this way. If you literally plug it in, it should make sense. So if I put a 0 right there, because that's what you told me it was, is 14, 14. Yes. Zeros and ones will get us every time. Just slow down. Okay. Now, you are doing, so far, 1st through 5th, I have a feeling, last class too, you're going to stop at number 12. I don't know why number 12, that's just what I picked. Okay, so skip 13, 14, 15, and 16. Skip 13, 14, I don't know, 15 and 16, okay? So, most of the classes have had left number 4, and then 6, 7, 8.
Why?
I don't know. That's just where we stopped. Your group has 10 extra minutes, though, so you should be finished.
It's cold.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, so finish this for homework.